And why do I want to help you pursue a career in the digital economy? I would love to answer this first with a story. 6 years ago, there was a guy graduated from mechanical engineering department at University of Baghdad. And just like any other graduate, he was thrilled to start his job in what he spent a chunk of his life studying. There was an opportunity, and he joined a power plant. He spent 6 years of his life working there, but he never, even once, felt a sense of accomplishment. In fact, he was always thinking that this job could be easily done with computers and sensors and everything. And it were actually. There was also always a competition, and it just didn't feel right. This guy also had love and passion for computers, so he started learning coding in his free time. Started to look for what his passion is about, and at first that was mobile applications. At the time, smartphones were the trend, and they just entered the market. And see like this small device that can accomplish so much with simple apps. So he went and tried to learn how these apps were done and how these apps were developed. So he looked for resources, tried to see how these apps work, and managed to decode, or in our jargon, it's called reverse engineer, some of these apps. And all of that was done by the help of Google. Then there was an opportunity while he was working to join a bootcamp. And in that bootcamp, he entered a community of coders, and he kind of put his learning into perspective and filled the gaps that he had while trying to self-study all these topics. From that bootcamp, he got his first job working for an international startup, where every day there was a challenge and a victory. It felt so good, and the reward was also good. Ever since then, that guy has started building computer apps and training people on building such apps. And today, he's here trying to help you get down this path too and get this feeling of accomplishment and productivity. And also the market needs more exceptional people too with these skill sets. And that is my story. What I want to hear more now is from you. Can a couple of you unmute and tell me your story, and why did you join the speaker session, and why do you want to enter the digital economy? You can raise your hand and then I'll pick and you can speak, unmute and speak. Can I see some hands? Okay, I've got one. Qais Ayad. Okay, Qais, go ahead.
Hi. Okay. So I have technically a similar story. I graduated 4 years ago, I think, from mechanical engineering. And I started learning programming. I found it so hard the first year. Then things start getting easy after you get used to things, and I get a few jobs internationally from Jordan and I'm now starting my own startup. And in the bootcamp we recorded too, to make connections and to learn more professional things. So it's just great. And you work from home, you can be lazy, you can work at late, everything's so good.
That's amazing story, Qais. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else has some comments or want to share? I have Hussein Talal. Hussein, you can speak.
Yeah, hello everyone. Since I was kid, I had the passion and love for technology, and I didn't know where to start. I didn't know. I love the robotics things and computers. Since I was 9 years old, I got a computer, so I get a chance to get involved in these things. So I really liked how everything is done, how the programs are working. So I started searching, but since that time, I didn't know where to start. So at 16 years old, 17, I know about programming languages. So I started learning the basics, and I went to software engineering. So it's in my passion and love. I started doing things, and now I'm involved in this bootcamp in front-end web development. So I found what I was seeking for all these years,
Amazing.
and I'm
Thank
really
you, Wisam.
looking for completing and my life with these things.
Amazing. Yeah, the digital economy is amazing once you get into it. And hopefully this will be also like help more people to get into this economy and start working. So why the digital economy? Just like some like Pace and Hussein shared with us, the digital economy is kind of the evolving new market that is has all the buzz and everyone is people are trying to shift into. You know, like most of the work, the usual work that you do now has been replaced by computers. Computers and robots can actually do a lot of the jobs that we do, a lot of the work that we do manually and by hand. And this it's kind of try to make more companies and enterprise, even governments, shift into adopting that like the information and communication technology, and mostly that is to enhance productivity, also like enlarge market reach and reduce operational costs. And basically, like, let's be honest, computers can do instructions even like sometimes better than human and faster than humans, as long as they are instructed well. So the future of work is transforming jobs everywhere. There is also part of it is like globalization, where now, just like the old saying, the world is becoming a small village. Everyone, like from Iraq, they can work and accomplish tasks in the United States or in Europe or in Turkey through their computers and small room, no matter how that is. Also digitalization. And like everything that we used to do on pen and paper with pen and paper now can be formatted somehow and hosted on computers, when we can find records easier and faster, and we have it versioned, and it's all like saved on a small space in our computers and on the cloud on database. And artificial intelligence is also the newest technology that is changing how work looks like. No more people are doing, like, even cars are now being built by robots while they were being built by hands and manually. So the digital economy will kind of be at some point in the future the only source of like the source that builds the innovation and like moves human forward, and that is for competitiveness and growth. And it also have like huge potential for entrepreneurs and small and medium-sized enterprises. So the challenge is that we need to adapt to the change. The future of work is not a future anymore. It is happening now. And in Iraq, we see this economy evolving rapidly, and it will keep evolving as more people invest in it, changing the balance of global economies. So from this, I hope that you see the importance of digital economy, and also part of it is enjoyable. Like, you get to work remotely from your home, and you don't need to be present at a specific office, or like be with like having long commutes to work and everything. You can work from home and still deliver tasks and get rewarded very well. So how do you actually enter this economy? The digital economy is about the digital information and communication technologies. It revolves around many sectors and segments. Today, we will walk through some of this economy sector and how to start your career in one of the evolving sectors in Iraq. When it comes to the digital economy, I will share with you some of the resources that makes this easily accessible for you. These are three of the main job markets currently in Iraq and kind of sectors that you can start working on right away. The first one is software development. And this segment is about building applications that solve problems. It can be websites, mobile applications, games for all different platforms like mobiles and desktop. You also have desktop applications for all the different operating systems. You have specific apps that does some sophisticated calculation and math, and that could be artificial intelligence or data science somehow, and also scripts that make our work automated and easier. The other sector we have is digital design or graphic design. And this is the craft of creating visual content to communicate messages. You use design and visual hierarchy and page layout techniques to convey messages to users. Graphic designers use fonts, pictures to meet user-specific needs and focus on the logic of displaying elements in interactive designs. And that is to optimize user experience. UI/UX design is perhaps one of the most needed crafts in the market currently, especially in our job market. And the other thing is Internet of Things, and that is, in the broadest sense, encompasses everything connected to the internet, like computers, mobile phones, and wearables. But now, increasingly, that term is being used to define objects that talk to each other. Simply, the Internet of Things is made up of devices, from simple sensors to smartphones and wearables. They are all connected together and they talk to each other. This isn't a new science, but it's evolving every day by innovation and all the new things we can create using simple electronics and microcomputers. There are many resources if you want to enter this market, and it keeps growing. For the rest of this session, I will mostly focus on software development and how you can start learning software development and become the next tech leader in your community. Do I have any questions so far? Cool. Then, do you know about Recoded? Recoded helps prepare youth for the future of work. In Recoded, we have bootcamps that trains you on software development and also UI/UX design. We also do workshops on intro to coding, Internet of Things, and other tech-related topics in Recoded House. And there is also a makerspace too, where you can go and start building products using 3D printers. You can use CNC machines and everything, and prototype your next future idea. I'm sharing this with you because at Recoded, you can find easy access to the digital economy once you join our bootcamps or our workshops, and that could be your start point where you could go next. So how do you actually start learning software development? Software development used to be a science that you only get access to through studying a college degree or be it software engineering or computer science. But now there are plenty of resources online that could get you started right away. If you're really passionate about the topic, you can learn in just below 3 to 4 months and start your first job as junior or intern software developer. And that will be most likely in the web development job market because that market is now accepting a lot of juniors, and it is evolving so fast and so rapidly in the market in the region. Now, what I will be sharing with you is mostly recommendations, but you can of course find your own resources and start your own learning journey. But keep in mind that this journey needs commitment. If you go down this path, you need to be committed on learning this. This will be your future career, and it doesn't happen all at once. You will face challenges, you need to be patient, you need to dedicate and persevere in order to grow while learning this. You need also a computer, but that doesn't necessarily need high specs, a decent internet connection, and you need to practice. And I cannot really say this enough. You need to practice all the time in order to learn and be like have the skills to work in software development. It is not easy, but it is enjoyable, and you can really find the pleasure while achieving with every line of code you write in the future. With every line of code, when it works, you have this this feeling that, okay, I've done it, I solved it, and it really like can give you this feeling or sense of accomplishment, and like push you to do more and do harder and evolve. So now you have these prerequisites, and let's say you have patience, you have commitments, you have dedication. What to do next? One of the courses I really like and I feel is a great intro into programming and understanding all the craft jargon and fundamentals and what developers do is this Pluralsight course. It helps you get started programming without focus on specific language. The course duration is 3 hours, and when you're done with it, you can't really call yourself a developer, but it is like the foundation of understanding what comes next. It doesn't really focus on a specific language, but it tries to demystify the terms. And like when you research online and you hear, for example, data structure, what is data structure? This course will give you access to all these terms that we use in software development. And for your next step, that will become easier to understand what you're reading. And then I really recommend to do this course if you're even if you are a developer and you've started. This is a very great course. Check it out, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. And then moving forward from that, you need to choose a technology. Now, there are many technologies that you can work on. One of the technologies that might be interested to you is front-end web development. And web development is about building applications that run in the web browser. Currently, that term is not really true because the same application that you built for web browser can be run now on smartphones and desktop. But it is that the segment or the market is called front-end web development. Other technologies could be back-end web development or native mobile apps development for Android and iOS. Also, you've got the blockchain development. The other field that is really evolving now is data science and machine learning. It could be a bit advanced, but you can find easily resources online to learn and specialize in that segment if you're not into coding or building UIs and all that stuff. Data science could be the answer for you. Of course, each technology has its own tools and language that is chosen by its community. Around every topic, there are communities that are built, and in these communities, users start with a language, and then they build tools for this language, they build libraries, and you kind of you can with every programming language, you can achieve all tasks, but sometimes in a specific segment, you need to use a certain language that is because it's adopted by the community. In our digital economy and our job market, you see that some of these technologies are really evolving. You can select a sector that you really have passion for and start investing your time and resources into that field. But I've been recommending front-end web development, and there is mainly a reason behind it. Front-end web development is about using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to build websites. And it's only there are no more attachments. It's only these 3 languages. There are many frameworks or tools that makes this easier, but actually with only these 3 languages, you can start building applications. And JavaScript in specific, it is like a language that can be used in every other segment. You can use JavaScript to build front end. That's one of the uses. You can use it to build native applications for mobile, even desktop apps, and even now it's being used in machine learning and data science. Game development, some of the games are built using JavaScript, or at least part of it using JavaScript. So JavaScript is a very versatile language, and it is simple and easy to learn. It's kind of like the language that plays with all technology, and there is a very enormous community behind it. You can't really get lost when learning JavaScript. It's very simple to start, and all the apps that you are built with it can be ported easily to work on all the different platforms, like be it desktops or mobile or browsers. Do I have any questions, Biston? I'm not really monitoring the chat, but if there's any question, you can unmute and ask.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Talk more about game developing in Iraq.
Sorry, Mohammed?
Can you talk more about game developing?
So game development is kind of now, there are, especially in locally, there are a community being built around game development. And with game development, you can build games for mobiles, and especially cross-platform ones. You can use like Unity or with C# to build games for mobiles. Game development is kind of like not easy, but there are levels to it. So there are like the games that you play on consoles and computers, and these are like very advanced games that are usually backed by a specific engine built by some company, and then you use this engine for physics of the game to build your story or around that game. And usually the language that are used for this are C and C++. There is also part of it in Python and some other parts in C#. It is the games that you play and enjoy like on computer, they are mostly built with these languages. But there are like games that are built for mobile. And with Unity, you can really build amazing games for mobile. Most of, like I've seen games, especially some of the games you see like when it starts, it says Unity, and that is because it's using like the free version of Unity. And this game was totally and completely developed using that language. And you can find a lot of resources around Unity, especially in YouTube, as well as Unity itself has its own community of developers where they are building games all the time. And we do even like have some workshops. We hold some workshops on game development. So you can even join that and enjoy or start your journey in being a game developer. It's a very new market, but it is evolving fast. And like the reward with it comes pretty high, because games, everyone plays games.
All right. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Do I have any more questions?
No.
Thank you, Mohammed. Okay, then like now I've shared with you some of the technologies that you can, like specialize in. One of the technologies that we didn't really talk about is blockchain development. And blockchain development is kind of a really new market. Everyone knows about blockchain, and blockchain is kind of a database where you can link records together. And it was developed mainly for the cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. But now blockchain is evolving fast. Like it is used for different or many new applications and segments. Blockchain by itself being a database that you cannot really mutate or you cannot really alter previous results. It is being used as a no trust, like you don't need to trust any party. Most of the database are hosted on websites where you need to trust the website owner that this database will not be altered or changed. But blockchain does not really rely on that, and it's kind of a way to make sure that the records, once they are there, they will not be changed. And they are being used to build smart contracts, which are like contracts that bind two parties without having a third party in the middle. It is a very new market, and there is a great or amazing course on Udacity on being a blockchain developer. If you are interested in, I can share more resources with you like after the speaker session, but it is a very competitive and new market that you can specialize in. So some of the resources of learning like programming. So I would like to start with Recoded. So if you aren't in a hurry to start learning now, and you prefer the feeling of a classroom, assignments, and a class-based learning grade, where you get to be part of a greater community and share the learning and knowledge, Recoded is one of the schools that run 5 months boot camps twice a year. And following COVID-19, our newest model will be focused on online classrooms, where you will be guided by a team of trainers and you will learn using the curriculum of really well-known online schools like Udacity and Flatiron School. Make sure you follow the page and apply for future boot camps. The journey is amazing. And so far we have 85% of employment. Our graduates are getting jobs within 6 months after graduation, and that is really great. We help you really learn, especially like front-end web development, and we do that in 3.5 months. And then you get to build your portfolio with real-world projects or client projects and graduate. And your graduation will help you enter as a junior web developer or intern web developer right away into the local companies or even like the international companies. We also give you access to networks and alumni network, and like a great database of people and companies who we have partnership with. However, if you like self-paced learning, where you will be fully responsible about your own learning, you have one of the well-known and amazing and yet free course online, which is the Pre-Code Camp Academy course. This course will take you in a journey to learn the basics of front-end web development. Then you will delve into JavaScript concepts plus some of the mainstream technologies like React and Redux and some of these frameworks that are currently mainstream in the market. Completing Pre-Code Camp course will get you a certificate on each milestone. The whole course is like 2,000 plus hours, but it will be split into milestones of 300 hours. And you will get certificate after every 300 hour, and you will get like great community as well in their forums, and you will get to learn with a group of people. The course is continuously updated and is really one of the pillars in learning this awesome technology for free. This course can be enough for you to land a job in one of the giant tech companies, and this is how their website claim. Like some of people who get certificates from Pre-Code Camp Academy got accepted into Google and Facebook. So that really makes the journey enjoyable. Also, there are many other resources that can help you learn front-end web development, mostly paid curriculum, or if you can do your own research, you can learn individual topics and concepts on your own on Medium and YouTube. Another course recommendation is CS50, and CS50 is a great course that's prepared by Harvard University. It introduces you to computer science in 12 weeks, and the course is available online and in person. It is free, but without certification. You can search for their lectures on YouTube, and there is also the EDX version. There's an EDX platform where you can search. You can find most of the curriculum on EDX platform. But if you want the certificate, then you need to pay money for the certificate, but the knowledge is for free available there as recordings. And the course, it's like really help you familiarize yourself with many languages, mostly HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You also get introduced to the C language, as well as Python and the SQL, which is the query language for databases. You will also, in this course, learn concepts like abstractions, algorithms, how to build algorithms, and what are algorithms, what are data structures, how you encapsulate, and you get like how to manage your resources, the computer resources, security, a lot of topics that CS50 goes into in only 12 weeks, but it could be a very good like introduction to computer science. You learn from there and you move forward. The next aren't really resources, but they are aren't really courses, sorry, but they are resources for your learning. For example, you have the For Dummies book series, and this series is very amazing in getting you to learn specific topics. Most of their books are available online in electronic format as well as printed format. And it's you can buy their books and choose like a programming for dummies series, and it takes like some of the mainstream topics like databases or front-end web development or data science, and it gets you like from zero level to like pro level, because it is meant for dummies, for people who have no background in this topic. And also we have like Medium, and the good thing about Medium is that sometimes you don't like to go into a course and like have let's say like 3 or 4 hours to study a specific course, but you like to explore on your own, or you most likely like to learn by doing. On Medium, you can find tutorials to build certain projects. For example, let's say how to build a to-do project, and you have like step by step on how to build that project with a specific technology, and you kind of learn by doing right away. So kind of a shortcut for you where you can learn that so fast. When doing it, when practicing writing code is the best way to learn, and this can be tempting for some people to learn this way. If you're not into the like the textual or you read text, you can also check out YouTube, and YouTube does also have these like projects online. You can search for how to build a to-do project using JavaScript and HTML and CSS, and you'll find a video course guiding you through how to build that project, and you can follow and learn from that. And finally, the Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is a community where you get to ask questions. This website will be your pal if you go down this course. All of the time, you will face problems, and by just copying this problem, putting it on Google and searching, you most likely the first hit or the first result you'll have is from Stack Overflow. And Stack Overflow, it's been around like for 12 years now or more, I believe, and you can find all sorts of problems there, and you can find also the solution for it. If you also have a specific problem and you couldn't find a solution, you can ask questions, and many people will help you. But really be aware in there, because sometimes like these people tend, especially if your questions is like not well written, you can get many negative comments or answers. But it is good to always search and really like phrase your questions in a way that is understandable by someone who's reading it, and you will definitely get good answers for it. The learning curve in there, like on asking questions, is kind of steep, but you will get used to it by trial and error. So in here, like the most important thing by using any of these platforms to learn, or any of these tools, is practice. You don't really need to only copy paste lines. You need to write these lines of code yourself, because code is very, it nags about punctuation, about semicolons, about dots, about spaces. Everything can create a problem for you, and just copy pasting code will not give you this experience. You need to type your code yourself and see what the error and what's the problem, and try to solve it, and then learn from it and face the next problem until you get really used to that. And the problems will never end, but it's always, it has a good feeling when you face a problem and you solve it. You get this sense or feeling of accomplishment, and that can really boost your learning experience further. Is there any questions regarding like these resources? Do you want more details?
Hello everyone, how are you? I want to review this lecture. How can I do it?
The lecture will be recorded and shared with you after the speaker session. Bestun will be sharing it with you guys with the presentation after we finish.
Oh, thank you.
Am I correct, Bestun?
Yes, you're correct. I will be sharing it via email. As long as the email are correct, they can have it. You're recording and the slides, right?
Yes.
And probably some links to these resources.
Cool. Thank you, Bester.
Certo.
All right. So far we've explored like these resources, and you will be starting learning. Like you will go for Code Camp and start learning. The next thing that you will need to, when you go down this road, is to learn about some of the programming tools. And you know, to program or to write programs, you usually don't need a lot of tools. You need simply an editor where you can write your code in. Even like Notepad with Windows that comes with Windows can do the task. But like specifically for coding, you'll need a specific tools or specific editors called code editors. And these tools can help really boost our code productivity, because it offers like syntax highlighting. It shows you how code are written. And actually, I want to show you like what syntax highlighting means. Let me check this. Let me show you this. So imagine like this is one of the simplest codes. This is JavaScript code. And you see like in here, syntax highlighting is about showing you or coloring your code to make it easy when you look at it to differentiate what is this. Because you mostly like in code, you mostly write text and you have a lot of text. You have also like language specific keywords. You have language specific indentation and like objects or notations. And with syntax highlighting, you get to really understand like what's the difference between this dot and what's the difference and what is this dot? Why is this one blue and why is this white? If you just use a specific or a normal code editor like Notepad, and if I copy and paste this and put it, I don't think you will be able to see this. Let me check if I have like plain text here. Yeah. So imagine that this is Notepad and you have just plain text. Now, if I look at this, it's really hard for me to understand what's this code. Like I can do the job if I go like and check them word by word, but with syntax highlighting, that can be really easy when it is colored for me and I can see what is that. And it's kind of also like it gives a pleasing visual feedback for the user when you're writing. Most of you're working with colored text and everything, and that is the what code editors offer for us. The other thing that offers for us is also completion. So for example, in programming, when you type like most of the functions or methods, they are already like some of them are built in the language itself. And there's no need to type the whole thing, especially like if it is like this function or this function, you don't need to really go and type it. And sometimes you get some errors. Code completion, it can complete code for you. And this is the extra benefit or the other benefit of code editors. There are many more, but I think this is enough for now. One of the code editors that are of wild or like mostly used currently in the industry is VS Code, which is Visual Studio Code. It's a code editor developed by Microsoft, and it works on all the platforms like Linux, Windows, Mac, and it is very great. A lot of people are using it, and you can be the next one. The next tool is version control system. And again, when we're working with code, and let's say like you see like most of the programs comes in version. So for example, you have version 1, and then after some months you get version 2 and version 3. And how do you actually keep track of this code? So version 1 was a specific code, like for example, let's say this code is my version 1. And then in the future, I see that I can do this better, or I can, like develop a feature for this code. And definitely I will be changing this line into something else. So, and let's say like I make this line, let's say in here, I'm changing, for example, text. So I'll be adding to my code. How do you know that what was the code, what did the code look like 1 year ago, or even 1 week ago? You will definitely forget. All of you have is text everywhere. So you need a way to track these changes, to track all the versions of your program and of your code. So in here enters the version control system. And one of these version control system are Git and GitHub, or actually it's Git, and GitHub is kind of the next term next to it that always comes next to it, and it is a website. Git kind of take copies of our codes and save them in its database. And whenever we change something, it tells us that, okay, you've changed this line from this text to that text. If you want to save it, and you save it to the database, and you can easily, at some other point in time, get back to this version if you need, like your code didn't work or you faced a problem and you need to restart again. It makes it so easy to rewind or reverse your code into older version. You also get to test features, like get a new copy of your code, work on it. If it doesn't work, you can just delete it. So you as a developer will need this tool, and you will definitely use it if you go down this road. The next is GitHub, and GitHub is kind of a website that saves our code. Like Git works locally, but when you want to share your code with other people, you host it on GitHub. And you will see, like, once you become a programmer, even a junior, you will see that you'll use this website a lot. So check it out, write it in your notes, and just know that at some point in your learning experience in the future, you'll be using this. The other tools, the other tools are called REPLs, or like a way to prototype without, like using all these tools, without using code editors, without installing some applications. We have REPLs online, and some of these REPLs are, for example, Code Sandbox or CodePen. And the good thing about these tools is that they offer us a platform where we can write our code right away and see the results. And then we can share our code with other people without having to, like create a new file on the computer, upload it to GitHub, and share it with other people. These tools will also be your friend. You will prototype a lot using these tools, or any, like, even if you want to write a Python program, or you want to write like an HTML page or JavaScript script, you will use these tools a lot. And finally, Bash and Terminal. Who have seen, like, in the movies sometimes, and the hacker movies and everywhere, and like these movies that makes coding kind of amazing, you see like the hacker has this window that is black and the text is green, and he just types command and runs this code all the time. And when you look at it, you say, wow, cool, what's this guy doing? Like, he's writing so fast and all these commands and the screen is moving and everything. This is what we call a terminal. And it's a way to interact with the operating system, or with our like Windows, or if you're using Windows operating system or Linux, you can interact with the kernel or with the software itself. Like the operating system is a software in its own. You can command it and operate it using this terminal. But instead of having, like these buttons and you click here to refresh and you click here to change tab, you get to do it through commands. So you get to, for example, check a website using the terminal, or open a specific application. And as a developer, or if you go down the programming road, you will use the terminal a lot. And you will look, like kind of this cool guy who knows how to use this platform that we see only in movies. Terminal will be your friend. And you, like most of the commands, you will find in the documentation, everything. So it is not really intimidating. You just need to know what commands to use to do the job. But don't be intimidated to try it. I really recommend that you start. There are also, like, there's always another way to do it. It's not only the terminal. You can do it through like the buttons and everything. But the terminal can, like, really is kind of the tool of the developer. So it can make even the job is more enjoyable and have like a better look to it. And there are actually many other tools, but I think that these ones if you start learning after the session, you will see that these ones are the ones that you will face, and you now you know what these things do. Is there any question? Cool. So far, we've explored how to, what are the mindset that we need to adapt in order to start learning development. And development is, when you learn development, you kind of enter the digital economy. You can start working in that economy. We explored some of the resources that are available online that help us learn, and also some of the tools that will come with this learning, and some of the tools that we will be using as we learn. Now, next is a long process of learning. You will keep learning all the time. You will move forward. You will keep trying, failing, searching for a solution, solving, and then facing another problem. And this is it doesn't happen all at once. This is a very long journey. But as I told you, if you're really passionate about it, then in 3 or 4 months, you can actually, call yourself a junior developer, especially when it comes to web development or front-end web development, because you only have 3 languages to look at. You can call yourself a front-end web developer. And this is what our students, when they graduate from our bootcamps, do. They go through this bootcamp for 3.5 months, then they start working as a junior web developer. But I got some techniques for you to make this learning experience better. So again, this learning doesn't happen all at once. You will face a lot of challenges, you will face a lot of problems, but the most important things that you need to do is to practice, and as well as to learn from your mistakes. The following are some techniques that can help make this road easier, make this path easier. So you need to prioritize and free up your mind. I know that if you weren't a developer, and you maybe are working currently in a job that is not about development or computers, you're maybe working as a mechanical engineer like I were, or working as a accountant, or be it any job. So with this, if you want to learn this language, you will have many things on your plate. There are your work, your family, and your learning. You need to prioritize learning. And the science of programming or computer science is very broad and very big. And if you don't prioritize what you need to learn in order to go to the next step, you'll really get lost in it. So always make your learning as a story. Try and kind of say, I'm learning web development. So what is the first step that I need to do when I learn web development? I need to learn how to build, use HTML. And HTML is the language that has the structure of our page. Then after you learn HTML, while you're learning HTML, you'll see that someone or some article or some topic talk about something called CSS. And at that point, you might be tempted to go and learn about CSS, but you need to really prioritize what you learn. Only focus on, now I want to master HTML by itself. I don't want to jump between the topics, because jumping between the topics will just, strangle or this threads of learning. So prioritize these tasks of learning, and make sure that you free up your mind when you are learning. You don't need anything else on your mind while learning, because it's a topic that needs, deep thinking about it, and kind of understand the intertwined concepts between themselves, in the language. So your mind needs to be totally clear. The next one is to make a space in your home. And this isn't really about, learning, but when you put this, when you create this space, it really enhances your learning experience. You kind of shift into a mental state where you are in full learning mode. you know, you always like have your desk, you have your notepad, you have your coffee, and even like this simple plant. This space will be your kind of your learning haven. When you want to learn, you go into the space and you be productive, you learn a lot. So making a space in your home can really help you, like even in the future, if you might be working as a remote developer, so you will be working from home developing applications. So you will invest in this space, invest in creating this space while learning, and it will be your space in the future as well while working. So a space in your home can really boost your learning experience. And then build good habits. Habits is also kind of like you build a routine into your learning. You need to, you know, like always eat better, you live healthy, and all because we are not learning this topic in a college or an environment where you usually learn, not in a school. You need to kind of build this habit that makes your learning better. You need to exercise. You don't need to, you know, like affect your other duties or other life. You don't need to get in too much, like invest all of your time in only learning, because you will burn out, and then you will see that you haven't learned anything. So try to make your learning part of good habits or part of a good routine throughout your day, and always try to feel good about it and live a very healthy life, and that can affect your learning and affect your work in the future. The next is change your mindset and language. And changing your mindset, like usually we have two mindsets. We have the fixed mindsets and we have the growth mindset. And while learning development, you need to adapt the growth mindset. And in growth mindset, you usually, you know, you will face criticism. You will, you know, like you need to face challenges. Otherwise, you won't be learning. So you need to embrace these challenges, and you need to persist despite all the obstacles that you will face. You want to see that this effort that you're putting is your path into mastering, learning this topic. You need to welcome criticism. Your code in the future will not be perfect. You will always need to, like, there is no perfect code when it comes to this profession. Like, for example, building let's say a carpenter who's building a desk, then after 10 or 20 desks that he built, at some point, if he's building the same desk, his desk will be perfect. Like, it won't have these needles, it will look great, the coloring and everything will, and the painting will look perfect. And that is like, he mastered this. But in coding, the technology is always evolving, it's always developing. So there is always room for improvement, and you will always face criticism. You need to learn by this criticism and don't take it personally. You take this feedback and you build or learn from it. And finally, you need to be inspired by others' success, because if you work within a team, you'll see like your friends are building like good code, and you need to like adapt this mindset where you're learning, all of you are learning in a good curve. It's not about like they are better than you or you're better than them. You build codes that work together. So the growth mindset can really be the mindset that helps you learn in this topic or in this industry. While the fixed mindset is about like the intelligence is fixed, and you know, like you either can do it or you don't. But in here, no, intelligence in the growth mindset, intelligence can be achieved by your desire to learn. And as much as you want to learn, you will excel and you will move forward, and you can really achieve your goal in a very short amount of time. The next one is to take breaks and sleep well. And I believe like some of the developers in here can really share, like if we have developers in here, can you really see that this will become kind of a struggle when you're working as coder or developer, because you kind of get lost or you kind of deep dive in code. And once you're coding something and it's working, you see that the time flies, and you started coding at 8 p.m. and then you suddenly see it's like 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, and you're happy about it. But this is, like it's against your health, and sometimes breaks really help you, write better code or learn better coding. And also like sleeping well can really help you in learning. It kind of reinforces the concept and like refresh your brain into learning new concept in the next session or in the next lesson. And then you need to chunk your learning and practice recall. Always like learn, just like we shared, learn by topics, by concepts. Say like, I want to learn, for example, what is data structure? And then when you learn data structure, then you need to learn what is iteration, for example, and what is looping. Once you chunk this learning and chunk these concepts, you kind of start to build the bigger picture of the language. And at some point it just clicks and you say like, oh, now I got it. Now I understand what's this. Like it was, a pieces of learning here and there, but once you start to recall and, like check if you understand this and link it with the other topic or the next concept, you feel that the picture is kind of becoming more clear to you, and your learning can be put into practice right away. Do I have any questions so far? All right, then moving next. Also, what enhances learning is to join communities of like-minded individuals. And this is like a step that some of us, sorry. I kind of, like missed this step at some point when I was learning by myself. I kind of, like all the time face problems and I try to solve it on my own. I try to research here and there and I might get a good answer or wrong answer. But once you join a community, you be with people like you get inspiration from, and you get access, to more advanced developers or more advanced people who can help you familiarize yourself with newer technologies, newer concepts, and as well as, you have this feeling that you're not learning alone. There are people who you can, like depend on or can give you support. And joining communities can also give you access to like broader networks where you can, even when you practice, you can find prospects of job opportunities, like people who can facilitate you finding a job. So when you join communities, it can really enhance and boost your learning experience, because you're not doing it alone, you're doing it with a group. And always when working in a group, it's kind of, it has better outcome for our learning experience. The next one is teach others and have fun with it. I believe like most of the college students like have seen this at some point. When you learn the concept and teach it to someone, you kind of reinforce this concept and you will be master at it. Sometimes even when teaching it, you discover that you don't really know all the inner workings of this concept, but like that will give you the opportunity to research more about this and learn how to better understand this concept. And then like other ideas are always a way to boost our own learning. So when I'm teaching this to my friend, like my friend can bring out points that can make me to better understand or better link these concepts in my brain. So this is like a Prioritise method that says that teaching others can really boost our learning to higher levels. So try, like even sometimes the developers have, instead of teaching someone, they have something like called a rubber duck. And you see like some of the coders, maybe in pictures or videos, they have this yellow rubber duck next to them. And like while coding, they try to teach this rubber duck how they are thinking. And that can help them better understand what they want to do. So this concept will, like teaching others, be it human or even your rubber duck or your cup of coffee, it kind of help you organize your thoughts and then transferring these thoughts into instructions for the computer or code blocks. So practicing this, always try to teach others. Grab your brother, grab your sister, and tell her that, let me teach you what I've learned today. And this will really have good effect on your whole learning experience. And then, now you've learned what to do next. Before I go into this, do I have any questions on learning and how you can, learn better when it comes to computer science or development programming?
I would like to say something. What should I do, or like a person who just keeps doing tutorials and just never does anything? Just one tutorial after another one and after another one, and you never build something, and you never feel like you can build something.
Sorry, Bestun, can you repeat the question? I didn't get it.
Okay. Many of my friends or in college, the problem is many do tutorials, and they do many tutorials, but they never learn actually, or they never build any projects. So what kind of solution do you have for these people?
So, like, tutorials are a way of how I use tutorials. Like, let me put it in this. So I learn a concept, and then I don't know how to put this concept in context. I need to use this concept in a way that show me how do I use this. So I go and check, for example, a tutorial, and the tutorial can give me fast access on how to use this concept in a real project or real application. So like, once you've understood this concept and you know how to use it, you can really apply it to something else. But it's still like, it doesn't come right away. I feel that most of the time when you cannot really come up with a project is because you don't have full understanding of what the project is. So like, part of my next step about what will I do next is building portfolio. And building a portfolio is about building your own ideas. Try to think about an application that you want to build. And you understand, like, without reading a problem or, like a requirement or anything, you will try to, you have all the idea in your brain and try to build it by yourself. This can maybe have better learning outcome than, for example, go and follow a specific project by a client. And that's why maybe your friends are not able to build this project, is because they don't really know how to exchange the text into instructions or ideas. But if you're building your own idea, like even the simplest idea, it can be a calculator application, or it can be a to-do project, or even like a small game where things are bouncing around. You have all the ideas and how you think about this project in your brain, in your head, and you try to just put it in code using the concepts that you learn and the tutorials that you learn how to use these concepts on. And I feel that this is a better way to understand or how to build a project. And the other one is also try to like see the applications that you like. Try to read code. I read code a lot. If it is websites, then I go and try to open the websites and go to the developer tools and I start reading their code. It doesn't make sense to me right away, but sometimes I spend hours to just read this code and try to understand how it's working. And this can like give me ideas on how to build my own project, like how to do things. Reverse engineering was one of the ways that I always prefer. Like even for Android applications, there are simple tools on the web that helps you change an application into source code and then go through the source code and see how's that working. That can also like, it's all about reading and practicing. You just need to find the balance of how you build that project. Does that answer your question, Destin?
Yeah, so you basically mean starting off with projects right away?
Yeah, I don't really think that they should go and like right away start building projects like as a freelancers or build other projects. They need to build their own projects first just to practice. And then they kind of start putting this experience into more, like client-oriented environment. Or they can work within a team, and working within a team can really make this also easier. So working within a team, you don't need to build the whole project. You have a small tasks where you need to follow and then link these tasks together within the team. It also boosts or make you more productive and more happy about the code you write, instead of having this full big project that you have all the moving parts and you need to link them together. This is kind of, I feel it's the hardest, but it's not the far-fetched step. It is the step that comes after building your own projects. So like in here you have learned, and let's say you want to now invest your learning, you want to invest your skills. So what to do next? You need to try and build some applications, just like I said, and these applications can be for free. You can host them on GitHub, and you can, like, even if it's mobile application, you can post them on Google Play or the App Store. And these applications will be your portfolio to show in job interviews. Most of the time when you apply for job interviews, they will ask you, like, what have you built? Show us your work, show us your experience. And the best way to convey your experience in the digital economy is by showing them your work. Like, this is the kind of one of the only jobs that you have some witness on your skills. You have your code that you can show others and tell them that, hey, I can build this code, I can write code like this, and it will be a witness on your experience. So building projects can really, or building your portfolio can really help you get jobs easier. And try to build, like, even the simplest projects. Build a calculator app, or build a running, for example, a running application for your mobile, things that just tracks how much miles you've run or how much time you've walked. And then try to craft these apps to the best you can. So because they really show your passion in this job. And sometimes you can even, like, grab designs from the web. There are many resources on the web for UI design. For example, you have Dribble, you have Behance, you have Pinterest. You just grab designs and use these designs to build beautiful applications. You don't need to, if you are a good designer, you can design your own. But if you are not, then you can grab designs, because these are really pleasing to your employer in the future, or even your client that you will work for. So this will show what you've learned. Then start looking for junior jobs. Apply for jobs that matches entry-level software developer, or junior front-end web developer, even junior web developer, not without a front-end. Don't go for engineering jobs unless you are sure that you can accomplish these tasks for engineering. I see, like, many of my own students, when they apply for a software engineering job, and when they go to the interview, they kind of not feel good about it, because it's kind of more advanced, and that is because engineering job expects you to know about software engineering, and software engineering is not really the same as software development, because software development is about writing code. Software engineering is about building these code blocks into like performance and everything. So don't target software engineering, target software development. It can be easier interview, and like even there the entry level can be really good for the skills that you've learned so far if you go this using these courses. Then most of the time junior or entry level software engineers are advanced for your level again. So don't be mad if you failed. Try again, apply for the next job, and always go to the interviews. In the interviews, you'll see that they give you like code challenge, and some of these challenges are from the web. So there are websites like LeetCode or Code Wars that can really give you these challenges where they can help you better understand the language and better land a job in these industries. If you aren't into working in companies or like corporates, you can explore freelancing. And freelancing is about, building websites or mobile apps for clients. But in here, you will be your own boss. You will work on your own time. You will have like a contract by contract. You can start by defining an hourly rate or price your hour, and then build some portfolios, and then start your profile on either freelancer.com or upwork.com, and then start tendering for jobs. You will see that people in these websites, they ask for specific applications or small applications, and they say that we can pay this much for it. You can tell them, or you can apply or tender and say that I can build this app for you. And then you get into this kind of agreement where you dedicate your time into building their project and deliver it by deadline, and they will pay you for it. And this is about freelancing. And what's good about freelancing is that you don't have a boss. You can work on your own pace, on your own time. It is good for some people if you like to work on it. Finally, you can use your skills to build products and market them, then create your own startup. You will find that only skies are the limit when it comes to technology, and with the development skills, you can really build anything that comes into your mind. We have, I believe, some entrepreneurs here, like Qais shared with us at the beginning. He's also a mechanical engineer, but he started learning development, and now he has his own startup. So there are no limits in there when you master these skills and when you learn development. That is all I have for you today. I welcome any question or any feedback in here, or any comments. And I hope that this was a good amount of information. I think the time is open for discussion. If you want to discuss any topic, or if you want to discuss like a specific platform or specific language. Baston, do we have any questions in the sheet, in the doc sheet? Yes, Abdul Basit, I see your hand raised. Sorry, I missed that.
Okay. Hi, guys. My question is, I see a lot of projects in YouTube for web developing, like small project, to-do list, and other projects. By rebuilding this project, it makes you good, or just wasting time?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? Your voice was not clear.
Sorry. Now I have a course download from Udemy. It's about 20 projects created by JavaScript. Okay. By rebuilding this project, it makes you better.
Of course, like you build whatever project you really see, whatever project. Like sometimes one of the most problems is coming up with ideas. But if you have the idea ready and you have the time, then go and build it. Like it will really help you. Like every time when you build something, you'll see that you've learned something new. Or even like sometimes it's by mistake you face some error, and then that error can really open the an eye-opening for a very big topic that you just missed or you didn't understand before, but now you see it like right away. How does that work? Or it gives you this insight of learning. So yeah, like I advise you to always do whatever project that your eyes you have access to, whatever project that you see. It's a really good way of learning, because in this field it's all about practice. You need to practice all the time. You need to write code your own.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Abdul Basim.
We sounded a question. Someone asked about Flutter programming.
Yes.
Yes. So he just wants to know how it will be in the future. Like, what's Flutter's future, and what you think about it.
Okay, so let me read the question. I have a question about Flutter programming. You know that from Google and it's used widely. So what do you think about how it will be for the future and all your notes about it? This is an interesting question. So when it comes to technology, like there is no really a sure way to see like how this technology will be evolving. But from my personal opinion, like I believe Google is pushing really hard for Flutter, and Flutter is amazing. Flutter is using like Dart as a backend language to build the framework, and Dart will always be there. And like when it comes to UI, building UIs with Flutter is really easy and awesome. So I think that Google will not let that go, and there are many people are coming actually now like to work with Flutter on building that UI. So when it comes like to cross-platform mobile development, you have only two options. There is you don't have really two options. You have many options, but the most like prevalent options in the market right now are Flutter or React Native. React Native can build really awesome applications, but they do have their downsides and their drawbacks. And you can't really, like when it comes to React Native, you can't really use the same code and just build it for iOS or for Android. You need to, like kind of adjust the UI and adjust this bridge between the kernel of the operating system and the application that you're building. And this is like when it's the problem with React Native, as well as it is like based on like JavaScript. But the good thing about it is the community behind it. While with Flutter, you have also a big community. You have Dart, which is like a great programming language. It tries to solve many of the like shortcomings of JavaScript. And I believe Google will keep supporting this language for the foreseeable future. So I believe that if you like the Flutter framework, go for it and invest your time and learning into it. And they can really build amazing applications with it. And I kind of touched on the next question, which is Flutter versus React. I believe this is like a personal preference. If you like with React, you have a very big community and you have very big resources. So and if you've learned like React for web, I believe that you can easily start building React Native applications for mobile without the new learning curve of learning a new framework and a new language when it comes with Flutter. So like I feel that is a preference, rather more like instead of something that I need or the community need to say that this is good or bad. They are both good. They both build robust applications, but it's up to you and your time. Which one is better to find a job? Actually, React Native is currently has, especially in Iraq, it has a higher market share. So definitely if you want to work as a cross-platform mobile developer, I would say go for React Native. And that is mainly because, with React Native, you build the same application for the web and you can build it for mobile or port it to mobile. And most of Flutter is relatively new. So React Native has the most market share, but there are many startups and many companies that are using Flutter right now. So it is also good, but for more job opportunities, I would say go for React Native. Can Flutter replace native languages like Swift and Java? So like in here, for UI, this is an interesting question. Flutter can replace native languages when it comes to UI. You can build better UI and faster UI using Flutter. But when it comes to, you know, like if you want to build a service or if you want to build something that works with the like something that runs in the background of the application that doesn't have UI, you need to fall back into the native languages like Swift or Java or Kotlin, because Flutter does not offer you this. It offers you a bridge between the UI and the kernel, but it doesn't offer you the access to the kernel right away. So you will definitely need to fall back on Swift and Java, and it will not replace them totally, but it will replace them, or it could replace them when it comes to the UI, because building UIs with Flutter is easier, and especially for cross-platform code base. Does Recoded has many courses or bootcamp about software in the future? So we do have bootcamps. We will have software like front-end web development bootcamps. We have UX UI bootcamps, and it is in design. So like keep monitoring our page, and you will definitely be updated all of the time. But we will always be offering courses and bootcamps, especially in the region. Google suspends Huawei Android support. Is there any alternative for a new version Huawei to reach Google Play Store? I'm not sure of this, but actually I believe Huawei have built their own Play Store or kind of like an app store right now, and they are marketing heavily for it. So they are still using the same Android kernel, but they'll have their own store to host applications. So yeah, I believe this is the answer to your question. There is an alternative that is backed by Huawei itself, and it's maintained by them. And I believe, I feel that at some point they'll start like, it will be, like when it comes to Huawei and China, I believe they kind of, you know, like go very aggressive when it comes to the market. So they will spend a lot of money on marketing this. And I feel that this will be the next market that people will just, you know, contest on and start to publish applications for, because you have, like, it's China, and you have a user base that is almost 1/7 of the universe, or of the population of the earth. So definitely this market will be competitive, and it will grow fast. What is Recoded plan for next year bootcamps? Do you have any idea about that, web or mobile? Yeah, I believe like Recoded plans, Bestun can maybe share more better than me about the plans for next year, but I'll leave the mic to you, Bestun.
We will have another web development bootcamp this year, so make sure you follow us. And you will apply, and based on certain criteria and a few tests, you'll be joining our bootcamp, which will be about 3 to 5 months long, which will also be online as the one we are currently running. So just make sure to be updated, and we will also add you to our newsletter. So you will be notified once we have it online.
Yeah, I think that we're like the new online model can be like can affect more people's life and can help more people get access to these skills. So most of our future bootcamps will be online, but just keep looking for our Facebook page or even like Instagram page. Rami, you're welcome. And I believe if there are no more questions, I believe this wraps up our session for today. I hope that really gave you some sense on the digital economy and how you enter or start working in this industry. I look forward into meeting you all in future speaker sessions or future bootcamp, future workshops. And don't forget to, if you are going into working as developer, don't forget to apply for our future bootcamps and get learn these skills on the hand of amazing and awesome trainers that we have in our team. And I look forward to see you all soon. Thank you for joining.
One more note on this. I will be sharing through email the presentation and then the recording and also feedback. Please fill out the feedback so we can provide you with better workshops and events. Then I will also add you to our newsletter, as I previously mentioned, and also our Facebook community. So we will be happy to have you there too. And thank you for today, and thank you for Wisam, and hope to see you in the next one.